Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Russia and Belarus have started 10 days of joint military drills amid ongoing fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. Belarus is a close ally of Russia and has a long border with Ukraine. Footage released by the Russian Defense Ministry show tanks and missile launches being used in the drills and military jets in the air. France called the drills, believed to be Russia's biggest deployment to Belarus since the Cold War, a violent gesture, while Ukraine says they amount to psychological pressure. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson said that Europe faces its biggest security crisis in decades.
We're seeing the massing of huge numbers of tactical battalion groups, on the borders of Ukraine, 70 or more.
Paris has banned the so-called Freedom Convoy protests planned for Friday as lorry drivers head to the city. Convoys from towns and cities around France have started making their way to Paris to copy the protests happening in Canada. Police have banned the demonstrations, reminding people that interfering with the roads can carry a 2-year prison sentence or a €4,500 fine. Canada's capital city, Ottawa, has been paralysed for days by truckers objecting to COVID-19 measures there. Brazil's largest city of São Paulo plans to pay to move residents from landslide areas as recent deaths from floods and mudslides highlight the large number of people living in areas at risk. In late January, a mudslide following torrential rains in Franco da Roca killed 18 people whose homes were situated along hillsides. Families being removed receive a grant of about $80,000 per month for rent for 6 months. A survey says more than 130,000 homes or buildings in São Paulo's metropolitan region are high or very high risk for flooding or landslides. Dozens of Tunisian judges have staged a demonstration in the Tunisian capital to protest against the president's plans to dissolve the Supreme Judicial Council. The group of judges held banners and chanted slogans outside the Tunis court building, supported by protesters outside the gates to the building. After the plan met with intense criticism, the Justice Minister said on Wednesday that President Kais Saied will change the Judicial Council but not abolish it. The president said he rejected foreign interference following the widespread criticism after he announced plans on Sunday to dissolve the body that guarantees judicial independence. Hundreds of truck drivers are stuck in a blockade of a major export route out of Sudan into Egypt as opposition to a military takeover has fueled festering grievances over trade. The blockade of the route, known as the Northern Artery, began last month after Sudan sharply raised electricity prices for farmers. The protests are hampering exports of camels and other livestock. Resistance committees that have rallied demonstrators nationwide have expanded the protest along the road, along with other groups demanding more support for Sudanese farmers and traders. Britain's Prince Charles has tested positive for COVID-19, the second time that the heir to the throne has contracted the disease. The 73-year-old, who said in December both he and his wife Camilla had received their COVID vaccine booster shots, previously tested positive in March 2020, when he said he had been lucky to have suffered only mild symptoms. He spent 7 days in self-isolation at his Birkhall home in Scotland before resuming to his duties. On Wednesday, he attended a reception for the British Asian Trust, where pictures showed him chatting to other guests, including British Finance Minister Rishi Sunak. And finally, a valuable avant-garde painting has been vandalised by a bored security guard who drew eyes on faceless figures on the artwork on his first day on the job. Anna Leposkaya's 3 figures was painted between 1932 and 1934 and had been insured for over $1 million. It was on display as part of an abstract art exhibition at the Boris Yeltsin Presidential Center. However, a security guard working on his first shift is thought to have wandered over and drawn eyes on it using a ballpoint pen. The executive director of the Yeltsin Center did not identify the person but said he worked for a private security company and had been fired. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.